Penguin Random House Canada presents The Trouble with Fairy Tales by Plum Johnson, read for you by the author. The stories that I fashioned once are fairy tales, and they cannot satisfy me now. Daphne du Maurier. Courage, my love. Pearl's Hair Salon is a tiny place tucked around the side of an old 4-story apartment building. It's within walking distance of my house in downtown Toronto, and for years I've been sneaking into Pearl's every month to have my roots touched up. There are only 3 chairs facing the mirrors, and on busy days, Pearl darts between them like a hummingbird, multitasking to the ding of a timer. Sometimes young men come in for quick haircuts, but mostly it's women my age, other pensioners who appreciate Pearl's reasonable prices and the fact that her radio is always tuned to a soothing classical station. None of us minds the tired decor and the occasional blip when the air conditioner fails or the hot water inconveniently surges. We feel like a supportive community of like-minded souls, even though we're strangers. We do what women have always done in the intimacy of a beauty salon. We let down our hair, we confide and confess, we talk about love. As Pearl slathers brown dye on my hair, I strike up a conversation with the woman sitting in the chair beside me. Her gray blonde hair is already plastered with streaks of gooey bleach, and folded strips of tinfoil stick out of her head like electrodes. We discover that we grew up in the same hometown, and she's read my previous memoir, They Left Us Everything. Pearl knows all about that book too, because when it won a prize, the shock caused bits of my hair to fall out. "What are you writing about now?" the woman asks. I never know how to answer this question when I'm struggling to write a new manuscript, so I just blurt out, "Old boyfriends." "Oh, I've got a few of those," she says, "only now they're old in more ways than one." "Which fairy tales were they?" "Fairy tales?" "You know," I say, "like Sleeping Beauty when you were first kissed awake, or some Pied Piper who led you astray. You must have been Little Red Riding Hood once, weren't you? Didn't you ever meet a wolf?" "Oh, yes," she says, nodding, "probably more than one." "See? And how about Cinderella? Didn't you ever meet your prince?" "Sure. Got married in my 20s, but it didn't work out so well." "Same here," I shake my head. "So what happened to us? How come we kept falling for fairy tales?" "Blame the Brothers Grimm," she says, laughing. Exactly. I keep thinking about all the messages we got. Be good little girls, stay on the path, wait to be rescued, one day your prince will come. Do you think we were groomed? Doomed? She fiddles with the cotton in her ears. Well, maybe that too. I point to the celebrity magazine she's flipping through. Have you ever watched The Bachelor or Say Yes to the Dress? We're still buying this shit. Just then, Pearl's timer dings. As she leads me over to the basin to lather shampoo through my hair, a lyric from South Pacific cascades through my ears. How many times have I tried to wash that man out of my hair? How many times have I sacrificed myself to romance, postponed my dreams, lost myself in a man? It was only once I'd left a man that I found myself again. Pearl hands me a towel. "You know what fairy tale I'm starring in now?" I say, clipping my hair back. "No, what?" "The Traveling Musicians. It's the one where a bunch of animals are told they're too old to be useful, so they're abandoned in the woods and left to die." "That sounds like me," she says. "I used to live in a big house, but when my husband left me, we had to sell it. I live alone in a senior's residence now. My children want me to wear an alarm in case I drown in the tub or fall over the balcony. It makes them feel better, but I hate it." She smiles. "At least it's not a nursing home, yet." "Well, there's no nursing home in The Traveling Musicians. When the old animals meet each other, they decide to band together and create a whole new adventure. They reinvent themselves." I remind her of a modern film version, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. It's no wonder that movie was such a blockbuster hit with the boomer generation. "Good luck with your book," she calls out as I'm leaving. "Make sure there's lots of romance and drama." "Drama?" She giggles. "Sure. Everyone likes to read about romance and drama. You should see what goes on in my apartment building." Leaving Pearl's, I hop the streetcar and make my way down to Kensington Market. It's a gritty part of the city where fishmongers and fruit stands spill onto the sidewalks and painted Victorian houses sell secondhand clothing and bongs. Winding my way through the crowded streets, past stores with names like Breathless and Exile, I arrive at Courage, My Love. It's the vintage shop where I often go to rescue orphaned dresses that remind me of my youth. I keep hoping to stumble upon my old prom dress, a short piece of pale pink fluff with spaghetti straps that I wore to a cadet ball in 1963. It would be fun to run into the cadet who took me. I think his name was Floyd. But I'm much more interested in reuniting with that dress. I wonder what happened to it. Outside the shop, I thumb through their circular racks, twirling with crinolines and ancient fur coats, then trip up the steps piled with old boots. Inside, I'm enthralled with the shelves of my past. Above glass-topped counters, cluttered with hippie beads, incense, and Mexican silver, I spy patent leather handbags, ceramic Bambi lamps, and souvenir ashtrays from Niagara Falls. There's even an Elvis bust. As I rifle through treasures from the 50s and 60s, tiny waisted cocktail dresses, circular poodle skirts, I'm thinking, why aren't old women treated like treasures? After all, we're pre-loved, meet the definition of vintage. We're at least 20 years older than everyone else. Some of us are mid-century modern, some pre-war, some even qualify as antique, like my good friend Pat, for example, who's in her mid-90s. She bewitched me when I was 7 years old by teaching me art in grade 2. Now she's my oldest living friend. I call her my other mother. Suddenly, in the lingerie section, I spy a floor-length swish of red-hot silk, somebody else's long-lost memory, and quickly buy it for $40. It's missing its sleeves, but the neckline is adorned with crushed velvet petals, and the operatic resonance of it makes me feel like singing arias all the way home. Tonight, I slip it over my blue jeans and t-shirt and invite my friend Les to come for a drink. It's after 9 o'clock. Most of my other friends are asleep by now, but I can always count on Les. She keeps artist hours, working into the night like I do, and her husband doesn't seem to mind. For almost 20 years, we've been sharing our thoughts, reading aloud, facing our fears, propping each other up. Just before she arrives, I rummage in the box under my bed where I keep my old shoes and stick my pedicured toes into lacy pink mules. Absurdly high, extravagant heels I haven't worn in 20 years, not since a certain lover slept over. It takes so little to feel sexy again. Gripping the banister, I teeter cautiously down the staircase, careful not to trip on my new wings of silk as they flutter dangerously behind me. I love coming to your house, says Les, waving her arms around my front hall. It's so artistic. I recognize the word artistic as friend speak for clutter. Books are strewn everywhere, overflowing from shelves and stacked on the floor. Unfinished paintings lean against walls, and an antique wool bathing suit dangles from a standing lamp. In the fridge, bottles of nail polish are nestled in the egg compartment, and whenever I go to get ice cubes, old paintbrushes wrapped in plastic bags to keep them pliable tumble out of the freezer. 40 years ago, when my 3 children were young, their friends said they felt so free here, mistaking the chaos for anarchy. At least you'll be safe from burglars, quipped my brother Victor, because who would break in when every room looks ransacked already? Back then, as a single mother, when I had more imagination than money, I'd renovated my kitchen by mirroring all the walls. I told everyone it was to create the illusion of distance and space, but the real purpose was to see myself reflected into infinity to prove that I still existed. Now, when Les walks in, she sees the mirrors are covered with yellow sticky notes. "Is this how you're writing now?" she says, looking around, "using your mirrors as a bulletin board?" "I've been rearranging those all week," I say, trying to find my theme. "I like this one," she points to a note near the ceiling, where I've written in big block letters, "Who am I?" That's my biggest question. It's our universal question. Les plonks her elbows on the counter to watch me make coffee. Who am I now, and who was I then? I can't figure it out.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?